Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a bunch of updates to share about Donald Trump's coup clown. So first up is huge news that broke this afternoon that former attorney Lynn Wood has been cooperating with the investigators in the Fulton County, Georgia RICO case. According to a new court filing, Wood has been working behind the scenes and testifying against Trump and the others. Apparently, District Attorney Fani Willis included this little snippet in a court filing, and she says that he is going to be working or has been working as a witness for the state, and he will testify as a witness for the state. So, ruh-roh. There's also a new sexual assault allegation against Rudy Giuliani, and this has been made by a former Trump supporter and employee of the White House. Republican and former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson claims that on January 6th of 2021, Giuliani reached inside her blazer and under her skirt. So this incident, she said, allegedly took place in the tent that was set up behind the stage where Trump was giving his speech at the Ellipse. So this was just prior to the Capitol attack. In a new book, this is going to come out next Tuesday, apparently, but The Guardian got a copy of it. They say that Hutchinson wrote, quote, "I find Rudy in the back of the tent with, among others, John Eastman. The corners of his mouth split into a Cheshire cat smile. Waving a stack of documents, he moves towards me like a wolf closing in on its prey. We have the evidence. It's all here. We're going to pull this off. Rudy wraps one arm around my body, closing the space that was separating us. I feel his stack of documents press into the small of my back. I lower my eyes and watch his free hand reach for the hem of my blazer. By the way," he says, fingering the fabric, "I'm loving this leather jacket on you." His hand slips under my blazer, then my skirt. I feel his frozen fingers trail up my thigh. He tilts his chin up. The whites of his eyes look jaundiced. My eyes dart to John Eastman, who flashes a leering grin. I fight against the tension in my muscles and recoil from Rudy's grip. Filled with rage, I storm through the tent on yet another quest for Mark. So Hutchinson, you guys will remember, she was the star witness in the January 6th Select Committee hearings. This is after she ditched her Trump-funded attorney and obtained an independent lawyer who supported her idea to tell the truth about Trump and everybody else. So yeah, Rudy is a disgusting pig. And yes, I know that's an insult to pigs, which are intelligent, loving, playful animals. Anyway, this is just the latest bad news for Giuliani, because it was also reported earlier this week that his former attorney, Robert Costello, is suing him for $1.36 million. According to Costello's lawsuit, he represented Giuliani in over a dozen different cases, and Giuliani has paid him only $214,000 out of the nearly $1.4 million he owes. And this is even though that fundraiser that Trump just hosted at his New Jersey golf club for Rudy, that supposedly raised more than $1 million. Which, if you think about it, it's kind of pathetic, because they're saying they couldn't find more than 10 people willing to support him to stick it to the liberals. Really? Anyway, next up is news out of Georgia. Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee agreed to allow attorneys for Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro to interview the grand jurors who voted to indict them. The judge, though, said that the interviews have to be voluntary, so meaning the jurors have to agree to be interviewed. If they don't want to be interviewed, then it's a no-go. Also, the jurors who are interviewed can't disclose any information about the jury deliberations. That is Georgia law, apparently. And then Judge McAfee also said that he will get to decide which questions can and can't be asked, and he will oversee the interviews to ensure that the jurors' personal information isn't disclosed, also that privileged information remains protected. He gave the defense attorney 3 days to submit proposed questions, and then the prosecutor will have an additional 3 days to provide any objections to those questions. And then the judge will make the final decision. And then he said that he will publicly post all of the approved questions. And then the court will reach out to the jurors and ask them, are you interested in doing this interview? And then if they do, it will be on the record. So in addition to that order, the judge denied Powell and Chesebro's request for copies of recordings, transcripts, and reports produced by the special grand jury. That is the grand jury that issued the initial report and the indictment recommendations earlier this year. Although he did order that the prosecutor needs to provide the defense attorneys with transcripts of special grand jury witnesses who may have been called, or who may be called, I should say, to testify. So in upcoming pretrial hearings or at the trial, if they plan to call someone, they have to hand over the transcripts that were related to that special grand jury for that particular person. The judge said they'll be turned over if and when the prosecutor decides to call each particular person. In related news, former Justice Department Attorney Jeffrey Clark tried to pause his disbarment proceedings. That was taking place in D.C., and the judge said, I can't go for that. No, I can't go for that. No can do. I can't go for that. Can't go for that. Okay, no, that was actually Hall & Oates, but the judge did say no. So he may be disbarred before he ever even gets to the trial in Georgia. So I'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, Clark is trying desperately to move his case from the Georgia court to a federal court. It would still be in Georgia, but it would be a federal court, so it would be a different jury pool. He had a Monday hearing this week, and it did not go so great. In fact, one of Trump's attorneys was present during the proceeding, and it was going so bad for Clark that Trump's attorney was overheard saying, quote, "This is not good." And the judge was not happy at all that Clark didn't even bother to show up for this hearing. And he told Clark's attorney that I'm not going to accept any sworn statement from Clark. I'm not going to accept that as evidence. So now we have to wait to see what the judge decides, but I can't imagine he's going to allow this case to be moved to a federal court. I mean, this guy was an environmental attorney in Trump's White House, Trump's DOJ, right? The only reason he was involved in any of this effort to overturn the election was because he was willing to go along with Trump's illegal plan. It's not because he was acting on behalf of the federal government. Next is news that I fully anticipated given the corruption in the Republican Party nowadays. As I mentioned recently, Trump's co-defendant in the Georgia case, Sean Still, he is a sitting member of the Georgia State Senate. So the governor had impaneled a commission to review the case, supposedly to determine should he be removed from office because of these pending charges. Well, the governor put the fox in charge of the hen house. He placed 3 Republican allies on this commission. And what do you know, guys? So shocking, they found that Still's actions actually don't affect his ability to make Georgia law. So he can remain a senator. Yeah. Last but not least, we all need to say a prayer for Sidney Powell. Okay, everyone, this is very serious. She is really going through some things right now. I'm telling you. In a recent court filing, she was asking the judge to dismiss these charges against her in Georgia. And Powell said she has lost her TSA automatic check-in. I know. It's hard to hear, right? Even if you don't like Powell, even if you don't like Miss Kraken Lady, I would not wish this on my worst enemy. That is rough, right? She now has to stand in line and go through the same airport checks as the rest of us. I don't know how she's going to get through this. I really don't. It's just, my heart goes out to her. Keep her in your prayers, okay? he will provide for her. All right, let my people go. All right, guys. And if you don't know what that's from, please go watch Easy A. Such a hilarious movie. Anyway, I will let you know when I hear more about these clowns. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please become a donor if possible, or leave a tip or a one-time thanks. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.